So I'm noticing your body language and your eye movements as he's saying that.
That's just her.
So, but there's something behind that. So when you're squinting your eyes and like looking like that, what does that mean?
Explain.
Hold on, I'm talking to her though.
Yeah, no,
let me talk to her.
Yeah, I get you.
Okay, so let me talk to her.
So,
Brennan, I'm talking to Emily.
yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
just helping. This is a lot, right? So I'm
not-
just gonna help her take a step back.
She doesn't need your help though.
This is my wife, so I'm just gonna make sure she's okay.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And today I have another therapy session from Married at First Sight season 17. This time it's going to be with a couple of characters, especially one of them that's these types of individuals are probably one of the hardest to work with in therapy. Stick around and find out why. This is a really interesting one. You're going to like it. Will you be right?
Thank you. All right, get comfy.
Yeah,
settle in.
Sure, comfy.
Yeah. So how has it been?
We had a little rocky, like, back to reality week, but then I feel like we're back on track.
Yeah. So you feel like that rockiness has subsided now?
Yeah, but I still feel like we're
Disconnect.
disconnect.
Currently, there's a disconnect?
Yeah, he doesn't feel like there's like romance.
I don't know if you noticed there was a confused face for her. I would have definitely followed up a little bit more when she said, I think we're back on track, but we're disconnected. There's a little bit of incongruence there. Maybe it would have been nice to see her explore that, but you can see with her face, it's not making sense to her, but rest assured that therapist has it on the back end. Maybe follow up later when it's a little bit more, maybe she's thinking about how to say, so she's letting the therapy session move along, but don't get it twisted. She definitely has that in her back pocket.
It's chemistry. So we're trying to like let time see if that can evolve. But I think the only way for us to figure this out is to just be as open as possible. So like while it wasn't what I wanted to hear, and it obviously like doesn't feel great, it's still like progress to hear any bit more than like we're fine or like we're taking it slow. Like just hearing any more like words and emotion, I think is gonna be critical.
Sure.
I mean, I know I've never had like a serious relationship. This is all new to me, but I think like he's getting so much better, but like talking about emotions is just not his thing, which is fine.
I think there is an example of what I told you, that Emily's accommodating to him, maybe a little too much. I would have asked Emily, is it fine? Like, are we sure you're okay with this side of him? To discover a little more, to find out, are you sure you are okay with this? Because if you're saying it's fine, you can't behave like it's not when it's going to take a little more time. Because maybe he might not get to the place of emotional expression that you'd like him to arrive. So maybe it's not fine.
You agree with her that it's challenging at times for you to verbalize what you're feeling or to verbalize what you're thinking?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But you are able to identify that you're not feeling the romantic chemistry.
Correct.
Can you put into words why you're not feeling it? Are there certain things that are turning you off from it?
Yeah, let's be mindful of Emily here. Like, this is not easy.
I am being mindful. Help me understand, is there something that just happened that I did that made you feel like I wasn't being mindful of her?
Well, it's just, this is not easy to talk about. And like, if I was in her shoes, I know I would be really uncomfortable hearing my partner like talk about physical intimacy, especially through all this.
Okay. Am I making you feel uncomfortable?
No, but
okay.
I feel like I got over the uncomfortable, which was like getting this out in the open.
Yeah.
So now I'm just trying to figure out how we move forward and
Yeah.
like fix it.
Right.
If it's possible.
Right, and like that's my intention of being here today, is to try to.
I think here, I really liked what the therapist did. She asked Brennan, hey, can you put into words why you feel the way you feel? I would have used maybe the word what. Like, what is making you not? What is it? I wouldn't have let him get away with just saying, hey, let's be mindful. It's not easy to talk about. He's kind of made it seem, I'm thinking about Emily here, and, you know, I don't want to say it because of Emily, but it really seems that he doesn't want to say, 'cause he's really uncomfortable with emotions. And there's people like that they've never had to really dig deep to connect with someone or be vulnerable. And I would say to individuals like Brennan, if you want a real relationship, a beautiful relationship where you feel connected, you're going to have to be vulnerable and talk about things that make you feel uncomfortable.
Figure out what can we do. And so for me, like the way that I work through that is to figure out, well, how did we get here? What's going on? Because that's going to alter what type of solutions or tips or advice that I'm giving to you.
Yeah,
right? And the only way in which to do that is, to your point, Emily, is to have a very frank and honest conversation, right? So when I just heard you say that, like, let's be mindful of her, I'm wondering, Brennan, if there might be some of you that is holding back from being fully honest with her because there's a concern of hurting her feelings.
Yeah, I'm definitely mindful of being respectful and taking very much into account her feelings. And I'm not going to say anything that won't help anything but do damage.
I think he didn't answer the question the way I captured it. The therapist was gently trying to show Brennan, hey, we get that you're hesitant because of why. And I think what the therapist was looking for him to try to be a little bit vulnerable without pushing too much, because I think she could see that he's very uncomfortable with this type of stuff. It was very clever the way she presented that sentence.
So I'm noticing your body language and your eye movements as he's saying that.
That's just her.
So, but there's something behind that. So when you're squinting your eyes and like looking like that, what does that mean?
Explain.
Hold on, I'm talking to her though.
Yeah, no.
Let me talk to her.
Yeah, I get you.
Okay, so let me talk to her.
So,
Brennan, I'm talking to Emily.
yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
just helping. This is a lot, right? So I'm just gonna help her take a step back and
She doesn't need your help though.
This is my wife, so I'm just gonna make sure she's okay.
That's my job, is to ask her if she's okay.
Yeah, I am fine.
I really like that. I feel Brennan was feeling the narrative is getting out of control and this subject's making him feel uncomfortable. So he has to somehow gather, the narrative a bit and control the situation because he's getting to a place that's uncomfortable. Really good to see the therapist stood up to him and said, no, that's my job.
I think I will be fine.
When you made the kind of like eye squint and were looking like that, what was that for you? When you do that, what does it mean?
Am I wrong?
A what?
A thinking face.
I think it's thinking / frustration.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hard balance. Like, I know he cares. I know he doesn't want to disrespect me, but I will feel maybe more resentment and feel like we're not going to be able to go anywhere unless I hear everything.
Yeah. What I'm trying to figure out is, what is the barrier and how do we move forward with that? To do that is, to your point, Emily, is to have a very frank, direct, and honest conversation. I can respect that this is a lot, and so I can totally empathize with how that might feel like pressure. So we've got to figure out what we're going to do differently. In order to figure out what to do differently, I got to know, what have we been doing?
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you put into words, in a way that you feel comfortable with, what is holding back for you the physical attraction?
Like, it's just a feeling that I don't have, so I don't act on it.
Okay. So what is the feeling that you have? You said you don't have the feeling.
I don't know.
I would have asked at this point to Brennan, I said, okay, well, you don't know how to describe this feeling. Tell me a time when you remembered having that feeling. What was that like? And I would have Brennan discuss it, or whatever expression that he says about that time he did have that feeling of attraction and into somebody. And that would follow up, what is the opposite of that? And whatever answer he gave me, I would have challenged him and said, is that what you're feeling towards Emily now? And just to kind of challenge him. You really, when you have clients like this, you really have to challenge them. You're not doing any harm. You really just need to push back a little, because clearly there's a miscommunication and misunderstanding and a lack of genuineness here. And sometimes as a therapist, you have to push a little hard.
Like, just not there.
What's not there?
That feeling to want to be intimate.
Okay. Is this something that you've experienced before, Brennan?
No, it's not.
Because I can tell that there's a lot of care that you have for her, right? Like even when you were like, whoa, stop there, Dr. Pia, like this is my wife, I'm trying to protect her, and all of that. So that feeling is there.
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah, but I don't think Brennan was trying to protect her. I think he was trying to protect himself. That's the way I feel. What do you think? When he was saying, hey, wait, this is my wife, I got this, was he trying to really protect her? Or was he trying to protect his feelings?
Is there an emotion attached to that thought?
Maybe? I don't know. Like, maybe?
What might it be?
The emotion?
Yes.
I don't know, like what emotion that is.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I don't know what emotion that is. That's just how I am when I care about people.
To all you therapists, we have these emotional wheels that we have for children sometimes. Sometimes we need them for adults. It's very helpful. And, you got to have that in your back pocket. Even if you're not a therapist and you're just a parent or, having the emotional wheel can really help you how you feel. And the more we can connect with our partners and understanding them and how they feel, the more authentic the connection, the conversation will be.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's care that you have. I think I might label what I saw happen as like protective of her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that how you feel?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So next thing is, I want to ask y'all both about your thoughts about therapy.
I go back and forth on my thoughts. I haven't had any bad personal experiences. I think the critical part is wanting to do it.
Right. What about for you, Brennan?
Have I, or what are my thoughts on it?
Both.
I have not been in therapy. Do I believe in it? Yeah, I believe it helps a lot of people and could be a really good resource.
Yeah. So I'm going to make a suggestion for you to enter individual therapy, Brennan, aside of this process, with the goal of helping to identify your emotions. Because I think that is going to continue to be a barrier for the relationship.
I don't think so. I do a lot of self-reflection. I have a really amazing support system, and right now I'm not talking about my emotions because I don't have any. So it's really hard to explain them if they're not there.
This is disappointing to see in Brennan that he feels that he is 100% transparent with himself and that he doesn't need therapy. We all have a blind spot, guys. All of us, we all have a blind spot. I know we like to believe that we got it under control. Yeah, I know how to deal with my emotions. I see what's wrong. You might do a pretty good job, but everybody has a blind spot. And I think here Brennan is demonstrating to us his blind spot is his emotional connection with his own feelings. He doesn't really know how to express himself. And that's going to be a big problem in any relationship he has, whether it's with his wife or with his friends or anything. So these types of personalities tend to struggle to make deep connections, as I mentioned before. As the therapist, I think I would have sent both of them to individual therapy. I think he has a trust issue, Brennan, here with the dynamics. He doesn't trust his wife enough to share his feelings. As a therapist, I think both of them need to go to individual therapy. Brennan to help identify his emotions, Emily to help her be a little bit more patient and understand what Brennan is going through and how that affects her.
Mm-hmm. So that right there, I think, is an example of why therapy would be helpful for you. Because everyone has emotions all the time.
Right, but I'm associating it with feelings, right?
Feelings and emotions, yeah, same thing.
Right. So if I don't have feelings, right?
You don't know what they are.
Okay.
Okay. That's what I'm suggesting.
Yeah, so clearly Brennan here, and if you have this type of personality that you're not in touch with, you don't know how to feel, you don't like feeling, that's going to be a big problem for you to connect with others. Or if you're dating someone or know someone that just doesn't like to talk about their feelings because it makes them feel uncomfortable. Newsflash, critical conversations are uncomfortable. Exploring this part of you is necessary. And this is a good example of how you don't want to be in a relationship, just kind of disconnected, not knowing your feelings. That's going to cause a lot of confusion. Going to therapy or having really honest friends to tell you objective perspectives of what you can improve can really help this part of you. Anyway, I wanted to share this with you. If you enjoyed the comment, click like and subscribe. We'll be back soon. And remember, ego isn't your amigo.